So in this video I'm going to go over how we can control the roughness of our objects inside Unreal 4 using a Lerp and a mask map. So what I've done is I've created this barrel in 3ds Max. You can also do that in Maya, and I have made a texture for it in Photoshop. So my texture just consists of 3 layers with 2 layer masks. So what I have is I've kind of got this blue base layer, and then I've got this silver kind of metallic metal layer, and then I've also got this rust layer underneath that. What I've then done is I have created an overlay of blue on top of my blue base layer. I've created a red over my metal layer, and I've created a green color over my rusty layer, and I've saved that out. So the 4 maps that I now have are my mask map, which is just a red, green and blue map, my specular map, my color or my original color map, and then I made a normal map as well. I've exported my barrel out, and I've just called it barrel_met for metal as an FBX, so I can import it into Unreal 4. If you haven't, or if you don't know how to export anything out of 3ds Max or Maya, I do have tutorials on that if you look at previous ones. So I'll go into Unreal 4 and I'll import in my barrel FBX. Now, since I've attached inside 3ds Max and Maya my color, normal and specular, it should bring those in with the material. So I'm just going to open that up, and you can see I can import materials, import textures. So I'll just import all. And what we have here is my barrel, which is now textured, and we've got our diffuse, our normal and our specular, and it's made a material. So you know it's a material because it's kind of like in this spherical form, and it's got a green underline, where textures have red and static meshes kind of have this lilac color. So I'll double click up and I'll open up my material editor, and it's quite simple. We've got my base color, my specular and my normal map. What we want to do then is we want to take in our mask map. So if I just click and drag that into my content browser, it'll import it in, and then all I want to do is drag that into my my material editor. So since this barrel is primarily metal, you can see I've got a metallic tab here. So I'm just going to hold down 1 and bring in a constant, and I'm going to plug that in metallic. I'm going to change it to 1. You can see the kind of specular highlights change a bit. They kind of reflect more color than they do black and white now, which is kind of making it look metallic. I also have a roughness one, and if I plug a constant into that, roughness kind of works, I suppose, the opposite way you think of. So if this is 0, it means it has 0 roughness, which means it's going to be completely reflective. And if this is 1, it's going to be totally rough, which means it's not going to reflect anything. So if I plug this in, it should turn very reflective. So you can see that, it's very, very reflective, very unnatural, and it's doing it to all areas of my model. So you can see even the rusty parts here are as reflective as my blue base layer and my actual metallic part as well. So what we want to do is just disconnect that, and we're going to use Unreal 4's basic layer mask expression inside the material editor, which is a Lerp. So if I hold down L, I create a Lerp, and it's got an A, B and an alpha plugin. So what I want to do is I want to bring in a 3 constant to that, and I want to connect my constant to the B channel, and then I'm going to make 2 copies of this. So just Control C, Control V, and I've got 3 copies. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them and press C, and just in my comment type in roughness, just so that if I was ever coming back, I would know what this kind of string of nodes are doing. Then what I want to do is I want to connect this Lerp to A and this lerp to A. And then I want to connect this red channel to this alpha, this green channel to this alpha, and this blue channel to this alpha. So now what I can do is I can basically mask and manipulate that mask for individual sections of this. So where it's red, I can manipulate that red value here, which will kind of let me dictate how reflective that red part of my texture is. And I can do the same for my green and my blue channel. And I can do that by changing the value of this constant. So as we were saying, if we have 0 roughness, okay, it means it's totally reflective. But if I bring that up to white, which would be a value of 1, it would be very rough, which means it would be kind of non-reflective. So if I plug this now into our roughness, we should get the same effect that we had before, okay, where everything's totally reflective because it's all set to 0, okay. So what I want to do is in my red channel, which is kind of my metallic thing, I'm going to click on this color picker and I'm going to bring it up to not totally reflective, but something, you know, a dark gray. Then my green one, which is my rust, I'm going to click on that, and I don't want that reflective at all, so I'm going to bring that to white, which is a value of 1, so you can see that. So now you can see that my rust is not reflective, but my blue base layer and my metallic layer are both reflective. I'm going to go to my blue metallic or my blue base layer, and I'm going to make that slightly rougher, something like this. And now that's, oh, I might make that, bring it down to a darker grey. Yeah, that's fine. So now what we have is a material that has that is using a lerp expression 3 times to kind of manipulate 3 different areas of my object, so that not all of it is rough or not all of it is reflective. So if I apply that and save it, I can now bring my barrel in to my scene. We'll be able to see here now as well where my rust layer is not reflective at all, but you know, my metal and my base layer are.